Hi everyone, I'm Daniel Kohn, the editorial director of Spin, and I'm very excited to have Bartees Strange here with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good, good. And this is a longtime Spin favorite. He topped our songs list in 2020, and he was number 2 on our albums list the same year. So we're very, very, very happy that you're here and taking the time to see us. And I know a subject that's very important to you is criminal justice reform. So what about that have you experienced that the issue holds a special place for you?
My brother was in prison for a long time, and I know the impact that has like on a person and just on a family, and the ripple of it. And when I think about like America and like its struggles with like racism, and it's painful to truly recognize how many millions of lives have been impacted by, imprisonment that is like over the line. The thing that stands out most to me is like weed offenses and stuff like that, where you got people in jail, mostly black people in prison for their lives for 20 years, 30 years for like weed, and when you look at like the history of the police and the Klan being like the background and the like the mitigating factor of like the police being created to instill fear in black and brown people across the South during during the 20s. It's like right now we're just seeing like the long-term impacts of that, and you have entire races of people who have trouble getting ahead in so many ways, and then you have this government-funded organization that pushes you into the ground at every turn. So it's just this constant fear that hangs around so many people, and then you have other people who don't experience it at all. Then it creates a world where it's really hard to feel like you can get ahead. There's enough against you already.
What are some of the elements that you'd like to see incorporated to kind of alleviate some of that injustice?
I mean, honestly, I think the first step really is defunding the police and rethinking like what the police should be doing in our society. Like, of course, we need something to uphold laws, but I think we need to rethink how it's being done, because there are other countries that don't have people getting gunned down by the police all the time. There are other countries that don't have people going to prison for tens of years, for minor offenses, and I would say that's probably like the first thing I would want to see changed.
Because the minor offenses thing, I don't know if I heard it recently. I just know the administration, what are they expunging all like marijuana sentences or like wiping it clean? Is that right? Or
Yeah, I know that's like one of Biden's like goals. I think he's gonna have a tough road to do it, but yeah, he talks about doing that.
because things like that, I feel like are realistic measures that will take things in the right direction. Because a lot of the stuff that I've been reading it's amazing and it's really smart and thought out. But with this country, I feel like incremental change, as painful as it is only way things go. And I would have thought after 2020 things would have gone more in that direction. But it seems like baby steps at this point.
Yeah.
I can't see criminal justice reform moving.
Yeah, I mean, you have senators talking about bringing back lynching. It's like, that's why. It's like you have a group of people that, are trying to make some steps forward, and every inch we try to go forward, there's another group that's trying to go a mile backwards. It's not even like an equal response. It's like, let's do this little right thing. And the other side is like, let's start hanging people again. And it's like, what? Like what's...
It's because they know their way of life is on the way out and extinct, and they're doing anything to grasp on because they know that change is coming, and it's coming now.
Yeah. I hope that's true. I believe you. I mean, I do think
from
that...
a psychological standpoint, that's why it seems like there's such an extreme reaction, because they know that their way of life is going to be gone, and the only way they know how to fight for that in a negative way is to lash out and go extreme.
Yeah, it's like a desperation.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, but it's still like dark. I remember being a kid, I grew up in like Oklahoma, pretty conservative place. And I remember being like, to all my friends, I was like one of the only black kids in my school. And I had a lot of white friends, and they were conservative, but I didn't feel unsafe, necessarily all the time. And I remember thinking like, oh, I bet by the time I'm in my 30s, the world will be so different because like the racists are going to die off. And then when I go back to Oklahoma, I'm like, all the people that were my friends are saying the same shit their dads were saying. And it blows my mind. So when I think about like, oh, they're aging out or it's going to change, I'm like, I don't know. I know a lot of 34-year-old people who, you know, would love for Trump to be president again. You know, it's like, it's real. It's a reality. So
It's a mindset and it's education too. The more people are educated and experience things like you, I feel like that is what gets that fear away and clinging to these terrible, antiquated, beyond the antiquated thoughts is experience life, interact with other people, and that's how the world will become a better place.
yeah, you got to leave home. I know so many people who will not leave Oklahoma, and I worry about them, because I'm like, you're keeping your world small on purpose.
And that's what I feel a lot of with criminal justice reform is being accepting and thinking positive and improving lives, not trapping people and making them feel stuck.
Yeah. Like my brother, like it's so hard for him to find a job. He's in his 40s, he's got kids. And it's heartbreaking, man. It's like he's a really capable guy. He just had a different road. He did what he had to do.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had him when he was 14, So it's like, what chance do you have growing up in the city? Your parents are kids. It's just, you do what you can, and you get, 3 strikes, you're 20, It's just like, and now he can't find a job, It's just like, there's millions of people like that in America. And it's funny, I look at him, when I'm around him, I'm like, man, we look the same. It's like, we have the same skills. He's like a super charismatic, talented, quick guy. And it's just like all of his skills had to be used in a different way. And, it just, I don't think enough people know people who have been in prison and like have seen like what it can do to you and to everyone around you in your world and in your community. I think if more people knew people who did, they would have different thoughts on like the prison system for sure.
Well, thanks for that, and thanks for coming by our studio. And is there anything else you want to tell everyone out there?
I don't know. Keep on rocking in the free world. I'm Bartees Strange.